Hello, I'm Anne Novella, and normally I talk about translated fiction, but today I'm going to talk about trans fiction. Because I saw the tag from Leo Bancroft a couple of weeks ago already. I think it's 7 to 8 weeks ago already, and I was thinking really hard about it, because what can I add? There are books that I've read that are really interesting, that talk about this subject, but they are in Dutch. But then again, I thought, well, there are always Dutch-speaking people who watch English spoken videos, so I said, to hell with it, I'm going to do it anyway. And then, here we are. So the first question Leo asks us is to tag some friends, and I thought about the only real property, because her poetry knowledge is quite big, and maybe she has some really interesting poetry to add to the discussion. And I also thought about Books and Bow, because they have really interesting ideas, and I just love their channel. It's one of my favorites, and we really share the same love of books. Not sure if they want to do this tag, but anyway, consider yourself tagged, and everybody who wants to do this tag and isn't tagged. Maybe also the Grim Reader. Maybe she has some German fiction or other fiction that really might fit the brief. So here we go. Tell us about some books on your to-be-read pile featuring trans, non-binary characters, or non-fiction about trans, non-binary stuff. So I told you before, I will talk about 2 Dutch books. The first one is Wormmaan. It just won a very important literary prize, or the most important literary prize in Belgium and the Netherlands. So it will be very likely be translated, and that's a very good choice if it will. Mariken Heitman wrote this book, and it's about a biologist who works in a team that improves vegetables. Like, they were working on a new type of pumpkin that is more compact, less seeds and less moisture. So it would be more interesting for the food chain. And they really found they really developed a beautiful type of new pumpkin. But then they realized there was another team from a competitor who did even a better job. So they were all, the team was sort of fired, is not the right word, but she was very disappointed. And while she left the team, she took with her a very old type of pea plant that they found somewhere in the region of Turkey, and that was very little manipulated by humankind, by humans over the 2,000 years that we are messing with plants. And she took it with her, and she goes off to an island somewhere in the Netherlands, and she wants to use that pea to put it back to its original state, just before humans try to tamper with it. And while she's doing that, while she's growing plants after plants after plants, she realizes that she is doing the exact same thing as that people are doing with her, as society is doing with her, because she's questioning herself, or they are questioning themselves, because at the beginning she's female, and then we follow her transition to more non-binary. And the moment she realizes that she's doing the exact same thing is such a powerful moment in this book. It's absolutely a brilliant and very, very well written book. I'm pretty sure this book will be translated because it's so powerful, and mostly all winners of the Libris Literatuurprijs, the Libris Literature Award, is translated to English. So probably this will get a translation. I will post a video whenever they do that. Okay? Really good, really good. The other book is also Dutch and I only read it in e-version, and that is the geschiedenis van mijn, seksualiteit by Tobi Lakmaker. The history of my sexuality. And Tobi Lakmaker is a trans person who started writing as Sophie Lakmaker and now is Tobi. So if you are googling for de geschiedenis van mijn seksualiteit, you will find both names because they are in the midst of their transition. The history of my sexuality is a brilliant book. It's so funny. It's painful, but it's funny, and it talks very lightheartedly about discovering one's own sexuality, and it's brilliant. So I'm just hoping that it will be translated. And if it doesn't, well, at least the Dutch-speaking people who haven't read this book yet and are looking for interesting books to read, well, this is the one. I thought about The Vanishing Half. I'm not sure if anybody talked about this book before. People have talked a lot about it, but not in this context, because there's a really beautiful part, or how you call it, a character in this book written by Britt Bennet, and who is transitioning, and the way the partner deals with it is really beautiful and understanding, and it's really a treat to read. And yeah, that's it. So then we go to question number 3. Recommend a favorite book, show, movie featuring a trans, non-binary character. Well, I have quite a few. In Belgium we have 2 good movies. The first one is already 25 years old and it's called My Life in Pink. Ma vie en rose, which is about very much the theme. It's about a young boy who wants to be a girl, and how the family struggles with the fact that she wants to wear dresses and wear makeup and high heels, and wants to go to birthday parties in dresses, and how do they cope with it, and how does the environment cope with it. So it's a beautiful movie, and you should really try to watch it. It's available with subtitles, so try to find it. It's Ma vie en rose, or My Life in Pink, by Jaco van Doormaal. It was also a finalist for the Oscars for foreign language movies. And then another one, very recent movie, a very beautiful movie also, by Lucas Dont. It's called Girl. And Girl is about a transitioning girl who wants to be a prima ballerina, and at the beginning she's very much accepted by her friends at the ballet school, but she performs a bit too well, and then there's more and more friction between her and her fellow students. The relationship between her and her father is absolutely stunning. He stands by her side at all times. So it's a really beautiful movie. It feels a bit like a documentary when you watch it, but it's very powerful and very, how should I say it, very tender. Absolutely a must-see movie. Then I also thought about An Plus, the Dutch movie that is now on Netflix. and the series, but mostly the movie, because there they talk about in detail how about non-binary people and transitioning people. It's also a very light-hearted movie, and it's really worth your while to watch. And then there was also a movie, what was it called? The Crying Game. Oh, I really love that movie. It's actually an action movie. I think it's Irish, or it's from the UK or Ireland. And The Crying Game is about a gangster who falls in love with a trans person. And I really thought it was beautiful. I never forgot that movie. It has been a long time since I've seen that movie, but it's really beautiful, The Crying Game. Then, everybody has their own journey on, and no one demographic is a monolith. Recommend a book with a journey, however you define that. I thought about Scary Close by Donald Miller. Scary Close is about how you perceive yourself and how you show yourself in the world, and sometimes it's necessary to reframe that a bit, because it's not always interesting to, before I read this book, I always said, hi, I'm Anne, I'm a copywriter. And after this book, I just say, hi, I'm Anne, how are you doing? That's what this book did to me, and it's really interesting. Scary Close by Donald Miller. And I also thought about Wild by Sheryl. Wild is, of course, very well known because of the movie, but it's also a beautiful book of coming to terms with your addictions and death and what you're going to do with the rest of your life after your mother dies. And I had the same thing, and for me, walking is a very good way to come to terms with yourself. It's a very good way to accept yourself and to be in touch with yourself. And for me, Wild was a very important book. Yeah. And movie. None of us knowing everything, even about our own identities, especially since we're not a monolith and each have our own journey. What's a book that taught you something either about yourself or the world around you? Ego is the Enemy, maybe? And Tao by Winnie the Pooh. That's also a very good one. And then, when things are hard in the world or in our lives, sometimes there are things we can do to help center and refocus ourselves, to bring joy, to keep us going, to keep living, resisting, be our authentically amazing selves. What are the things you do to center yourself or find joy? Reading and walking and seeing my friends and goofing around and playing with this little mongrel. Here she is. That's Muffin. That's my sweet little Muffin. Look at her. She's so cute. She's so cute. Voilà. She's also a bit non-binary because when she pees, she goes through her little legs and then she lifts one. It's very complicated, very complicated. That's about it. And when I really want to center myself and ground myself, I start to draw. I find drawing a very good way to refocus and to find myself again. Yeah. So and then, what's a walk-on music or feel at home in your body music? I mostly listen to Belgian music. I'm sorry, I'm a bit racist when it comes to music. No, I don't. But the choice is so vast in the world of music. And I really like Belgian music. I really like talent from here. So now mostly I listen to Sylvie Kreuz, I listen to Angèle, Stromae, Melanie de Biasio. And when I'm cleaning, for instance, and I'm in a very good mood, that is not Belgian, then I listen to the Police, the Pretenders, Wham, stuff like that. So yeah. And then finding mentors, people of wisdom or heroes can be another way to help us navigate life. Who are some of your mentors? Can you share something they taught you or inspired you to learn more about? Well, I have a very good friend, his name is Kenny, and he once said to me, when I was really down, he once said to me, you know, we always have to climb mountains, mountain ranges even, you know, the Himalayas in our life. And we have to do it, but nobody asks you to do it on your bare feet. So you better get some really good shoes to do it. And what he means by that is, if there's support around and if there are means to help you, use them. Don't be stubborn and try to do it on your own. There's help, use it. I thought that was a very, very important lesson. And then there was one person. I was sitting with this little scruffy face on somewhere on a patio, enjoying a tea, and an elderly lady came to me out of the blue, and she looked me straight into the eye and she said, "Don't waste your energy on your loneliness. Do something else with it." And that was such a turning point in my life, because at that time I was really, really lonely. I felt alone in the world. I was alone in the world. And since then, I've met so many new people and I've made so many new friends. And now my life is beautiful again. So yeah. And then, who are some out trans, non-binary booktubers, Instagrammers, authors, actors, etc. would you like to shout out? Well, we have a singer called Sam Bettens who is transitioning, and they have, or he has now a vlog talking about his transition, and I will put a link down below. Then we also have our Vice Prime Minister, who is a trans woman, who is very highly regarded and respected. I have never heard something nasty say about her being a trans person. It's always about what she says or does, but not about who she is, and that is really important. She makes it, you know, I think she's a beautiful example of how it should be. You know, you can disagree with a person's politics and you can attack them for their politics, but people don't do it on a personal level, and that is a beautiful thing. And then there's also Mariken Lucas Reineveld. There are so many people coming out right now, and I think that's only a positive thing. More people coming out, the more people that are coming out, the better. Because it's easier for people who don't understand the transition or don't get it or think it's just a fling. The more they get used to people in trans or non-binary people, the better. That's what I think. So yeah. What are some organizations you like to shout out for supporting trans kids, trans folks? Well, we have our Rainbow House. If you go there, you will find plenty of organizations, and also for non-binary people. There's also, in Belgium, we have an organization called EGO, and that's for expats in Brussels. It's English spoken, so feel free to join. Yeah, that's it. there you go. And I hope you've discovered some new stuff. And for people who are transitioning or trying to accept yourselves, you know, you're a beautiful person. Even if you don't think so, but you are beautiful.